Hey everyone, and welcome. We actually got a great request from some of Dr. Sassan Azizian's students to put together an explainer on the Java collections framework, especially focusing on its hierarchy. So this one's for you and for any Java student out there who's ready to really get a handle on one of the most powerful tools in the entire language. All right, let's get right into it. So let me ask you a question. Does your Java code ever feel, well, just like a cluttered mess of data? I mean, you're trying to manage a bunch of different objects, and it honestly feels like you're just trying to find your keys in a really, really messy room. You totally know what I'm talking about, right? You've got these jumbled arrays that just won't resize when you need them to. Objects are kind of scattered all over the place with no real rhyme or reason, and you find yourself writing loop after loop after loop just to track down one single thing. It's slow, it's clunky, and honestly, it's just a huge headache. But what if there was a way better way to do all this? Well, there is. The solution is to stop thinking like you're wrestling with all this raw data and start thinking like a master chef in a perfectly organized professional kitchen. And that kitchen, that is the Java Collections framework. So, what is it really? At its heart, the framework is this unified, standardized architecture. It gives you a consistent, reliable set of tools. We're talking interfaces and classes for handling groups of objects, and it doesn't matter if you have 10 things or 10 million. And look, I am not overstating this. A lot of people consider it the single most important utility for any Java programmer, period. Getting a grip on this framework is really what takes you from just dabbling in code to being a pro. It is that important. So let's really lean into our kitchen analogy here. This framework is your organized pantry, it's your spice racks, your labeled containers. Everything has a specific place and a specific purpose. It lets you work faster, cleaner, and ultimately create something incredible. Okay, so let's start by checking out the most important containers in our kitchen. We're going to focus on three main types of collections: lists, sets, and queues. You can think of these as the main pots, pans, and racks that you're going to be using almost every single day. First up, we've got the list. A list is an ordered collection, and that means it keeps everything in the exact order you put it in. The perfect example is a spice rack, right? Where you put the paprika matters, and yeah, you can totally have 2 jars of it. That's a list. It's ordered, and it's totally cool with duplicates. Next, we have the set, and a set is all about one thing: uniqueness. It's a collection that absolutely, positively cannot have any duplicate elements. So imagine a big bowl where you're prepping ingredients for a salad. You're only going to put in tomatoes once, right? And cucumbers once. Every single ingredient is unique, and that is a set. So right here is the key difference, you see? You gotta pick the right tool for the job. A list is your best friend when the order of things is important and duplicates are okay. A set is what you grab when you need to be 100% sure every single item is unique. And you know, there's another really important container here: the queue. Just think of a queue as the serving line at a counter. It's made for holding things before they get processed, usually in a first-in, first-out order. So the first customer in line, they get served first. It's super important for things like managing tasks or events. And finally, we have the map. Now, here's a little detail. A map isn't technically a collection in the same way, but it is a huge part of the framework. It's all about storing key value pairs. And the perfect analogy here is a recipe book. Each ingredient name, that's your key, is linked to a specific amount, that's your value. So if you want to know how much flour you need, you just look up flour, and bam, you get the answer. All right, so we've seen the containers, we've seen the pots and pans, but to really become a master chef, you have to understand the blueprint for the entire kitchen, and that is where the hierarchy comes in. Now, this right here is what those students were really asking about, and for a very good reason. The true genius of the collections framework isn't just the individual tools, but how they all connect together in this beautiful logical structure. This is the real aha moment. This slide just lays it out perfectly. Right at the very top, you have the collection interface. Let's call that our main pantry. It defines the basic DNA for any group of things. Like adding an item or checking how many you have. And from that one starting point, it branches out into all those specialized containers we just talked about. The list interface, our spice rack, builds on collection to add that idea of order. The set interface, our ingredient bowl, builds on it to enforce uniqueness. And the queue interface, our serving line, builds on it to manage items that are waiting. They're all different tools, but they all share the exact same fundamental design. And that's exactly where the power comes from. Because list, set, and queue all share that same common blueprint from collection. You can write code that works with any kind of collection. It makes your code so much more flexible, so much more reusable, and way easier to understand. You're not learning dozens of different systems. You're just learning one really well-designed system. So, you've seen the tools, you've looked at the blueprint. What's the payoff? What does this all actually mean for you, the developer? Well, it means you get to become a master chef of your own code.
Okay, let's break it down. When you master the collections framework, you're going to immediately start writing cleaner, more efficient, more professional code. You're going to cut down your development time because you're not trying to reinvent the wheel, right? You're using these powerful, super optimized data structures that the experts at Java already built for you. And maybe most importantly, your code just becomes way easier for you and for other people to read and maintain. And trust me, that is an incredibly valuable skill to have.
So there you have it. We've taken a tour of the chef's kitchen, from all the individual containers right up to the master blueprint that holds it all together. You now have the blueprint to organize your data with real elegance and power. So the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build with it?